Mike and Night. Our news, our business. If you hear at nighttime, you hear at the right time. Appreciate you guys for joining us once again. Got that in Dwelle going. Hey, we have a special guest today, so we appreciate you guys for joining us today. We were talking about entrepreneurship yesterday and how to get your papers straight, or at least, how to have some semblance of financial independence, which is what we're looking for in 2021. I mean, we were searching for it in 2020, but we got hit with that pandemic. Ain't that right? But anyway, you know how we do. You know how we get in here and do. We all about that love, support, and protect. Y'all give us a minute. Let us get right. Get our guests right. Get everything right. And we got to talk that stuff today. Hey, if you're an independent black woman, if you ain't an independent black woman, maybe you're just, I don't know, you're something. But get in here and maybe you can get some information from a black sister that has some good information to share with us as a woman who kind of has a lot of information on how to get you started and how to get you right. So we appreciate you guys. We thank you one more time. We got Addie, we got Adam, and we got Dwelle, in the house. And pumping that music again. So just give us a second and we'll be right back with you.
Did you add me, cousin? See, I'm already missing.
Good. I gotta wait until this goes down.
Don't call me no Christian rapper, just call me a Christian, nigga. My music ain't just for Christians, but whoever listen, nigga. The Hinduist, atheist, Buddhist, anyone mention, nigga. And I don't care if you like it, that's not my intentions, nigga. This is where peace is born, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to make a mind shift in hopes to change your life. See, this is where the ground break, it's the revolution. Definitely a problem. Not the solution.
Love, support, protect, right? I'm with the movement.
Okay. You gotta keep our business to ourselves.
Right.
Okay, so for you guys that don't necessarily know who my guest is today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna help. Hold on. My nigga, he going off, ain't he? I ain't mad at him. For those of you that don't know, this is Desiree, and she runs Dollars and Cents. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? It's called Dollars and Cents.
Yeah. The name of my business is Dollars and Cents Incorporated. What I focus on is financial literacy, business formations, tax prepare, bookkeeping, accounting, etc.
So if you need any of those things, okay, if you need to know how to get off your raggedy couch and start a business, she gonna help you out. Now, I'm not saying your couch is raggedy, but if it is, maybe you need help starting a business so you can get a nice.
Maybe you need 2 couches.
There you go.
One for the basement.
Right, there you go. So we're just messing with y'all, but we have to pull out here sometimes. Check this out. Y'all have to pay attention today, and like I say again, don't forget to tag and share, because you definitely have some people that will need to hear this information today. We take so much for granted in the black community, and we just think that we know certain things that we don't actually know. And we also rely heavily on the school system to teach us certain things that they're not going to teach us. We didn't get taught about credit, and we talked about this a little bit last night when we were talking about financial independence. We didn't get taught about credit. We didn't get taught about a lot of different things. And I know some of the schools might be doing it now, but I know when I was in school, they didn't tell me how to protect my credit or how to build my credit or anything like that. And the sad thing is that when we start going to college, we incur that $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 debt when we're just now learning how to deal with credit, and we have now taken on a debt that we may not be able to pay back within our lifetime, depending on what type of job that we get. So sometimes that's why I wanted to bring our guest on today. If you can just let us know a little bit more about dollars and cents, what you do, the tax information that you have to give, building businesses. I know you've been very instrumental in a lot of the building of businesses in our area, in the Denver community. Mm-hmm. So I just want you to share some of your experience about that and what it is exactly that you do along those lines.
Well, I've always had a knack for business. I've always had, like many of us have in the community, is just a knack for a hustle, right? I know how to hustle. I know how to find something I'm good at and just kind of feed it, water it, and let it flourish. And I found myself doing that for several people along the way. I was working for a dentist who actually owned like 8 properties in Park Hill. So not only did I manage his office in the day-to-day of his dentistry, I also was the property management for his business. And in doing that, I learned a lot about generational wealth and kind of how white people circulate their money, how they have the passive income, and then they have their 9 to 5 and all of those things. And it was interesting to me. Then the recession hit and I got laid off. And from that same particular job, because he was paying me nicely. Mm-hmm. And I guess he figured that, well, he did figure he could get 2 people for the price of 1 for me. Good luck with that. But what ended up happening is I went to school. I went back to school as a displaced homemaker, and because of the recession. And initially I went back thinking I wanted to stay in the medical field and do coding, because I've always been in the financial office of a medical office or building. And so when I went back to school, numbers always follow me. I always say I don't like numbers, but numbers like me. Mm-hmm. And so when I went back to school, I found myself saying, well, why don't I take this course in this class? And why don't I just, instead of grabbing a certificate, why don't I just go ahead and go for a degree?
Now, if I could just jump in there real quick. It's funny that you say that when you're talking about going back to school and finding something to do that actually complemented what it was that you were interested in. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of times we go to school just to have that degree, but it's not necessarily beneficial to what it is that we want to end up doing. We have a lot of people out there who are working outside of their skill set that they've been trained for. Mm-hmm. So you said that you didn't want to do that, just get any degree. You wanted to get a degree that kind of complemented
what my skill set already was. Because what I found out is when I was applying for these jobs in the midst of the recession, getting paid what I was accustomed to required a degree. So that's what made me go back and kind of say, okay, not only do I have these skills, but I have the book knowledge to prove it. And as I got into college, I love to learn. That's my thing. And I think that's another reason why I'm good at what I do in regards to helping people start their businesses, because I'm always seeking out information and networking and trying to connect people who can help each other. And we just build as a whole, which I think is important that we should do in our community. But yeah, I went back to school and did something that I wasn't wet behind the ears about. Like I knew the general concepts, and then it was nothing for me to pick up this extra course because it was stuff I already knew how to do. I already had the real life practices. I've already balanced books. I've already did quarterly reports. So when it was time to do those assignments in class in accounting 101 and 102, it was nothing for me, basically, because I already had the real life skills. And what I was surprised about is that a lot of people didn't have the knowledge, or what I thought was kind of just general knowledge on running a business, especially amongst the Black community. It seems like we're almost intimidated to take that leap. We're conditioned.
So do you think that is because, well, a lot of times it seems that I see that there are Black men that are usually more willing to get into the business field or entrepreneurship or starting, window washing businesses or janitorial businesses or, doing landscaping. But I don't really see the Black woman as active, should I say, or is that just me? Am I not seeing them out there as much as they actually are?
You definitely aren't. Most of the entrepreneurs I know are women. And most of the men I know that are successful entrepreneurs have a woman behind them. And when I say that the difference between a hustle and entrepreneurship is playing the game the way the game is played, right? You can have a legit a wonderful, successful business, right? But if it's not on paper, nobody's taking you seriously. The banks aren't taking you seriously. Lenders aren't taking you seriously. The IRS isn't taking you seriously. Now, when you're trying to get this pandemic money and these SBA loans and these grants, and you're saying, well, I've had this business for 4 years, but you've never claimed it on your taxes. What proof you're not recognized as being legitimate?
Okay, and lenders need to see this.
Lenders need to see that. They need to see history. They need to, and nobody's going to throw sugar on shit, right? If they want to invest in you, they want to know that it's something worth investing in.
Okay.
So it's important.
You can't fool the market.
No, you can't fool the market. Well, that's another lie.
Okay. So Sabrina said that she is certificates trades on here for all educational growth, and she also said she would encourage people to get their degrees. And I do encourage people to get their degrees as well. I just think the only problem that we have within the Black community is that we're incurring a lot of debt, and we're not finding a way to alleviate that debt once we have those degrees. You see what I'm saying? So we're getting degrees in anthropology and this and that, and we're not doing something that we are actually skilled at or have an interest in just to hold that piece of paper. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did the same thing.
Everybody isn't made for college. I know a lot of people who went to school and aren't using their degree. They're in a whole different field.
Okay.
In my particular case, I picked up trades along the way. And what ended up happening is I'm actually a semester shy of actually being a CPA. But I decided I didn't need to go back for that additional credentials because my certificates and my undergraduate is enough for me at this time.
Okay.
So I didn't get into a lot of debt.
Okay.
With my student loans.
And that CPA, that's a certified public accountant?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You know, I know a little something.
Yeah,
I was listening sometimes. But yeah, and I get that. I just feel like because that is a debt that can't necessarily be, that won't be erased, and you can't do nothing about it, that you need to be really careful in the pursuit of that college degree. Now, as far as your tax preparation services go, you help small businesses, SBAs, or do you?
I help small businesses. That's again what I was saying in regards to when it's time to be legit and being recognized as a business. There's a couple of things that you have to do. For example, you need an EIN. You file that with the IRS. You take that information, you pick what kind of business entity you want to be. You have several options. There's LLCs, there's sole proprietorships, there's corporations, there's S corporations, there's partnerships. So everybody hops in and automatically thinks that the LLC is just the way to go. Everybody's comfortable with it.
So can you give a disclaimer? What is that? What is the difference in those?
So an LLC is basically a limited liability corporation. So basically it's like having your own business, but you have the benefits of your personal not getting caught up in your business. So it's less liability. Now you can have LLCs that have several members, or you can have an LLC with one member, a sole member LLC. And because you're an LLC, on your end of the year tax returns, you file what's called a Schedule C. Okay. Now there's other entities, like for example, an S corporation. An S corporation is like an LLC on steroids. So it gives you the comfort of the liability umbrella, right, that the LLC gives you, but it also gives you additional tax breaks in the amount of taxes that you pay, in particular payroll taxes.
Okay.
So if you're a small business and you have a payroll, it's actually in your best interest to become an S corporation and file your taxes as an S corporation, because you're going to file less taxes.
Now you guys know that we are going to start charging you guys for this information on the Mike and Mike at Night show, because you know she came in here under the love, support, and protect. Bro in there too. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? I got Sissy here.
Hey, bro.
She came in here just on the tip of the love, support, and protect, and looking out for the community and showing you guys some things. Again, her business is Dollars and Cents.
Dollars and Cents Incorporated.
Dollars and Cents Incorporated. You guys can reach out to her on my page, go to her page or whatever, and talk to her about this, because this is something that I believe she said that is something that is disproportionate in our community, where I'm thinking that not many women are into it. She said, well, more women are starting their own businesses than men. So I would like to see the men that are coming into our show right now become entrepreneurs, maybe reach out, start some of their own business, and see what they can do to create that or start creating that generational wealth.
There's
Yes,
so
sir.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Can you talk to us about the importance? I do a lot of business with businesses as I'm doing my job, and a lot of them haven't never established their EIN. They have one, but they don't know if it's important, like a social security number is to an individual. So can you talk about how they establish their EIN number to get basically that business credit that they need?
So what people don't understand is an EIN is the equivalent of a social security number, like you said. So if you don't have an EIN, much like if you don't have a social security number, you don't exist. You're not a citizen in America. You're not a business in America. And it's actually so simple and free to get an EIN. You simply go to the IRS website, www.irs.gov, and you apply for an EIN.
Now I'm about to start charging people for that.
They're going to ask you some basic questions. And some people actually mess up in filing for their EIN because they think, oh, I can do it myself. And they pick the wrong formation. And now they're in this tax debt liability. And they got this noose around their neck before they even can get off the ground. So that's
establish credit with that. How do you establish your business's credit using that?
So once you get your EIN, you then register with the state that your business is operating at.
Real quick, the question was, how do you establish business credit with the EIN?
Right. So then what you do is you open up a bank account. When you go to open up a bank account for your business account, they're going to ask you for your EIN letter, and then they're going to verify that you're registered with the Secretary of State. Once they do that, they're going to go ahead and set you up with a business account. And now you're cooking. Now you're going to have the opportunity to build your credit by circulating money in and out of this business account. They're going to see your activity. You're going to get vendors the same way you do when you're trying to build your credit. Starting out personally, you're going to get applications in the mail. Hey, do you want this credit card? Do you want that credit card? And there's ways to go about building your credit. A lot of people think that the best way to build credit is to pay stuff off immediately. And that's great if you're a person who already has established credit. But if you don't have any established credit, you need to show that you can make payments. You're good on your word and your payment plans. So it's not in your best interest all the time to pay that balance off right away, because credit cards are in it for the money too, right? So if they know that they're not going to make any interest off of you, then they're going to be less likely to want to invest in you as well. So sometimes it's good to have some revolving debt out there because it establishes credit, and then you have timely payments, and that builds you up.
Okay. Can you speak to this? She was talking about Uline. How does Uline work, and are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with
Okay,
Uline,
you're not
actually
familiar with that. Maybe you could drop us a little bit more information in there, Alexis, on Uline, because she said that that's a great way to start and build business credit. I want to remind you guys to tag and share the video if you're on YouTube. Make sure that you're also sharing and that you're subscribing to the channel, because this is the way that we get this information out there to our community, and we can start educating ourselves from the inside out. We have a lot of different cultures that's been doing this for a long time. But we don't speak to each other about these things. Let's change the culture and the climate within our community when we're talking about, because you know what? This is the thing. Let me just keep it real. If we was talking, he's sitting here talking about somebody's business or talking about what little flip-flop did in the hood, right now I'd have 30 people watching and viewing trying to figure out what's going down. But this is our problem, Black people. We sit here and we talk about things that's going to help improve us, and it seems like not enough of us are interested enough to make a change in what we're doing on a day-to-day process of level. We're spinning our wheels and we're spinning the wrong time, like I said before, in the right places. So thank you, Alexis, for sharing that video. You guys go in there and make sure that you share the video, because there are people that need to hear this that don't know that. There are Black women out there who are still trying to get started. There are Black men out there who are trying to get started.
And right now is the best time to start a business, or to come out from under the rock you've been hiding your business and claim it, especially under Trump's tax code. He's designed for the small business. The way you're not getting the deductions that you used to unless you have a small business. And people don't realize often that they do have a small business. When you're braiding hair, when you're making plates and selling for fish fries, when you're part of a book club and your homegirls and all you guys pay dues, and then there's so many things that classify you as a business. And with that, you get additional write-offs. And then the government is giving out money. If you have an EIN, They're willing to invest in you right now because of the pandemic. They know that you're struggling. But I'm going to say this. When I prepare taxes, I have a very diverse clientele. I have people who get earned income credit and are low level, and I get people who are millionaires with billionaire companies. And there's always, I hate to say it, but when I'm doing a white person's taxes, the first thing they tell me is, please, I don't want to owe a lot. When I do a black person's taxes, the first thing they tell me is give me as much money on my refund as you can. Yeah. Run it. What you don't understand is that's a trick bag, because if you're getting a lot of money back on your return, that means that you are now considered low level, like your poverty level. Right. And so when you're turning around and saying, but wait, I want to buy a house, but wait, I want to get this car loan, but wait, they're looking at your tax return and they're saying, well, according to your adjusted gross income, which is your AGI, that's your golden number. That's going to tell everybody what you're worth for the next year, 2 years, sometimes 5 years. So when they look at your AGI, and me as your accountant, we wrote off paper clips, rubber bands, the dustpan, and we brought all your income down to now it looks like you don't make no money. Well, guess what? Nobody's going to lend you money because you don't make no money.
Preach.
So
Preach.
When you change that mentality and you realize I'm not going for the carrot in front of me, right? I want to buy a house. I want to do this for my kids. I want to help. Then you say, Des, what do I need to do to qualify for this house? Des, I got to take a loan out. What do I need to do? And then we're going to talk. A lot of people think, oh, I want to get that earned income. I want to get that earned income. If you're trying to level up, no, you don't. Because what that means is if you qualify for earned income, you make less than $42,000 a year. In the mile high income city, who can survive on $42,000 a year? And then be able to buy a house. They're not going to give it to you. There's a lot of programs out there, and our people truly do perish from a lack of knowledge. We're so scared to get from out under master. We think we have to go to a job to be successful. People wait 365 days to get a 10-cent increase instead of investing in themselves and their business and going out and getting them an extra $1,000. And you don't have to quit your job. You don't have to do that.
See, I say this stuff to you guys almost every day, but I thought maybe if you guys had a pretty face in here to tell you the same exact thing, then you would be a little bit more apt to listen. Because we do have a problem with that. But I've heard more alphabet acronyms here than I have in an episode of Sesame Street. I don't. No, you good. Because that means you know what you're talking about. But what I'm gonna have to do is go back. Prior to you getting here, I was watching the show from last night. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this one like 2 or 3 times to get all this stuff in. Now, sometimes genius isn't always knowing the right answers, but where to find it. So. When we bring people on this show, we bring people on this show for a reason, not only so that they can advertise for themselves and their business, but to help you all out as well. If you guys want to learn how to start a business, if you guys want to learn how to build a business or how to improve your taxes, your income, whatever that is, we got somebody here that can show you how to do that. And that's what we try to do on here now. We do like the shows as well. We have the shows that we talk about man, and Negroes.
We can talk about man.
And Negroes putting their name on the juice.
I know man and them.
Put their name on the juice. But these are the ones that are here to actually support us as Black people. Because these are the messages that we don't receive. We probably didn't receive them growing up. And they are probably not very popular within our community, around our circle of friends, or within our home. If you have been fortunate enough to be a Black person who has a strong network of people that have information like this for you, then you are definitely not in the majority. So this is for those people that don't know. And if you guys know people that not necessarily might not know, but just need to hear this information, again, I ask that you tag and share this video, subscribe, and share this video as far as Facebook goes.
Be willing to invest in yourself. I know a lot of people who can do a lot of things legitly, but they're afraid of losing their Section 8, or they're afraid of these benefits, their Medicaid, etc. And for that reason, they choose to stay stagnant on paper. And you're never going to evolve that way. It's a setup. You don't want that assistance, because if you're getting that assistance, you're always going to be under their thumb. You have the keys to drive your own car. You can do it. There's nothing to it but to do it, and you can leverage things. So a lot of people hop on TurboTax and all these other software systems, and they're like, I'm going to do it, and I can do this myself, and it's easy. Well, that's good, but that might not be your lane. You think you saving $100 by not paying the next man who went to school or got the credentials to do your taxes, and you don't realizing not only the money that you're leaving on the plate as far as the tax return itself, but you might be shooting yourself in the foot for the next couple of years when you're trying to make any financial moves. So when people come to me and they say, these are my taxes, I financial plan with them. What do you plan on doing in the next 2 years? What's your goal in the next 6 months? Do you see yourself acquiring payroll? In a year, where do you want to be? Do you plan on purchasing a house? If you're saying yes to any of those things, then you don't want a big refund. You want me to try to make things balanced to where you're showing you have money, your business is thriving, and you can make moves that way.
So we've convinced them now. I think they believe you're legit. You're the real deal now. Okay. So from this from right now, so what do we do if we want to get a hold to you? If maybe we want to talk to Dollars and Cents Incorporated to help get us off of that single raggedy couch that we have.
Right. So you can find me on Facebook. I guess that's the best way right now. To be honest with you, I'm bombarded. Like I don't advertise on Facebook. I don't advertise at all just because I have a lot of business. Like I'm ready to level up too. It's time to hire people on and empower people and bring that financial literacy piece to it. What I was going to is along the way of working for a lot of wealthy white people is what I realized is that the way that they move money and the way that they set money is completely different from how we operate. And once I started watching how they wield their money, it taught me how better we can wield ours. For example, I have a client who owns a commercial real estate property, right? So he has basically this nice office building in Cherry Creek, and he runs his health practice out of one of the suites, and then he rents out the other suites. But what he does is he rents out the other suites to his other businesses. So each business is feeding the other business. Now he has one business paying his other business rent.
It's like the internal pyramid scheme.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say scheme.
No, but I'm just saying.
Right.
In a legit
You're
way.
keeping it in-house. The same way like how the Jewish people, they circulate money amongst each other before they ever take it out. He's doing the same thing internally amongst his businesses.
So let me ask you this. I do. Let me ask you this question. What is it then? Because we were talking last night about if blacks were their own country, if the blacks who live in America were their own country, we'd be the 15th. We would be number 15 in the world, somewhere along the lines of Mexico, if we were our own country. What is it about our money? How are we spending our money? And what are we doing that's wrong in our spending to where we can't do these same things with our cash?
It's definitely how we're spending our money, right? We as a community don't understand that concept of building assets. We got lots of ass and no assets.
Okay.
That's where you make your money, is off your assets. That's where you get that passive income. When you have those rental properties that are making money as you're still going to work, and that property is steady appreciating and building your wealth, right?
Okay.
Lately, I've even been toying with Bitcoin and playing the stocks, and it's really been paying off for me. And that's been because I've been willing to take that chance. I look at myself and I identify, Des, what can you do better? How can you do better? Don't let the waistline fool you. I love to eat. I will eat out every day. Okay. But I realized how much money that was costing me, and I'm literally eating it up.
Right.
And so I said, why don't I just be disciplined enough to where every week I just put $75 on Bitcoin every week, no matter what, because I would eat it anyway, right? Take the girls, we do a seafood boil or something. I'd eat it anyway. I'd never see that money again anyway. So I said, let me just throw it in and see what happens. And it moved for me. It quadrupled for me. I couldn't believe the way that this money built for me. Okay. And I made a mistake though, because I was new to the game. Once I got the money that I put into it out, once I acquired the money, basically once I doubled my investment, I took my initial investment out and then I just played the house with the money I had made. Mm-hmm. If I would have just let everything ride, I would have made a lot more money. But what I'm noticing is that especially we as women got a sense of intuition. So like I'll watch the news and there's certain stories that just speak to me, or there's certain things and it makes me say, let me think more about that company. I like the way that company moves. What can I learn from that company? What cutting edge thing is this company doing that I might want to get behind? Right. Mm-hmm. So, for example, when they were coming out with the COVID vaccine, I knew one of these companies, one of them is going to get the vaccine. So I had a list of 4 listening to the Today Show, Good Morning America. They're like, oh, so-and-so's in phase 2, so-and-so's in phase 3. I thought about it. I prayed on it. I meditated about it. And I came down to 4 companies. It was Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Novavax. And I asked for guidance. Ancestors, spirits, whatever. What should I invest in? And something said, Des, invest in this one and then invest in Johnson & Johnson, because Johnson & Johnson is your safe bet, right? You know how you can be aggressive with your approach in stocks and you can be safe and very moderate.
They didn't even know how to make powder. Why would you? No,
but they survived. So this was my thought on it, right? They had just came out of that baby powder lawsuit and they were still standing.
Okay.
The Johnson & Johnson ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Whether they get the vaccine or not, that company is here to stay. I'm sorry. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
So that was a safe bet. Right. And then when them stocks hit and they're in the midst of a controversy or a lawsuit, that's when you hit them. That's when you buy in, because as soon as that's done, it's skyrocketing. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to identify a company that has a problem, but you believe in them and know they're going places. Take Tesla, for example. Now with Tesla, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a controversy, and I saw it on the Today Show. And Elon Musk got caught smoking weed. And they were like, oh, he's done.
Stay off the weed.
I disagree. Okay, there's money in that too, but that's another show. But he got caught smoking weed, and they were like, this is unheard of as a CEO. Like, he's done. He's going to have to step down. He won't be respected. And then 3 weeks later, he demoed this car, and it was supposed to have the shatterproof windows, right? So he takes this car and just heaves it, right, to show that the windows won't break. Windows shattered everywhere. He was a laughing stock. Tesla went boop. I think it went down to like maybe $80, $120. It was bad, right? And everybody counted dude out. He came back swinging.
Man in the world right now.
He came back swinging. In 18 months, his stock was over $1,400 a share, to the point where they had to split it. I think it got to like, I don't know, 18, maybe 2,100, where he split it. And it started all over. And then that's when I bought in at the split. I regret not, because I listened to other people and like the old school cats, like, no, they weren't ready for that new technology. The old school people aren't ready for the cryptocurrency. They don't understand how it works. So they try to have you veer from that. And then also you got to be careful who you're getting their advice from, right? So if I'm getting advice from an older gentleman who's going to retire in 1 or 2 years, he's not going to be as risky with his investments as I'm going to be at 30. So you got to know your audience and you got to know who you're getting advice from. So, because I say that to say the older gentleman, the Tesla guy was like, the older gentleman I was getting advice from during that whole Tesla fiasco was like, you need to invest in Apple. They're coming out with the Apple X. It's going to go ham, like invest in Apple. And that's what I did. Now, don't get me wrong. That wasn't a bad investment, but my money didn't bubble. My money didn't bubble the way that I needed it to. I'm making $100 this quarter, maybe 80 the next if I take it out. And Tesla's just booming, booming, booming. So I got in Tesla once he split it, made it affordable. I got in, and now once again, he's riding it. And anything that dude says right now turns to gold. Elon Musk is Midas. That's why GameStop bubbled. He dropped that name, and boom, it went up. Yeah, so you pay attention. You pay attention to people who can move the market like that. And then that's how you use social media. Not to talk about Man and Ray. Then you go and you follow Elon Musk and what he tweets, and even Trump's crazy ass and what he tweets, because he dropped a lot of game about them penny stocks that people don't pay attention to. So
Why don't they pay attention to it?
They're just turned off by it. Like that they're programmed to, they're programmed to not listen to a thing the man says. Which
so let me ask you this question, and you are absolutely right. But let me ask you this question. We talked a lot about the different types of businesses and the LLCs and the benefits and the different types of businesses there are, and also the tax coding and all of that. I get that. But what would you say to somebody who is, let's say, I'm starting out with $50, $100. I don't have a whole lot of money. As far as career goes or educational goals or financial goals, what do you say to, because a lot of people will feel listening to this and they hear what you're saying and the jargon and everything.
It takes money to make money, right?
It's too much for them. And they're like, you know what? Okay, I can't do all that. You know what? Just let me go to work and I'll be fine. I'm not even going to worry about it. What would you say to that person? How do you get that person from this level to this level? And I'm talking to my brothers and sisters out there that are financially illiterate.
I'm going to be honest with you. Just the same way that college ain't for everybody, neither is entrepreneurship. If you don't got that drive in you, if it's not in you, it's not in you, because it's not easy. And there's a lot of sleepless nights and there's a lot of stress and that goes into it. There's a lot of risk. You're stepping out on faith. So if you really feel like that ain't for me, then that's fine. Go and punch that clock. And I'm not mad at you. Whatever feeds your family and helps you sleep at night. But you'd be surprised at how much disposable income you have. Even with not making a lot of money, you'd be surprised at how much money you waste on cigarettes, on Burger King, on an Uber. You'd be surprised at what you can do with $10. A lot of people, that's another misconception amongst the community, is they think that in order to buy stock, if this stock is $300, I need to have $300. No, you don't. You can buy a portion of that stock. You can say, I'm putting $25, the same way you bet on an NFL team. You can say, I'm betting $25 on Tesla and let it ride.
Okay.
You'd be surprised.
So those are one of the ways that even if I don't have, I'm not necessarily wealthy or well off or even paying my bills on time the way that I need to do. Just starting with the little small things and investing can be an impact to your bottom line, of course.
Especially take right now, everybody got an extra $600 in the past couple of weeks that they didn't plan on having. This $600 stimulus money. There's a lot of things you can choose to do with that money. You can go get your hair done and never see that money again. You can go to the hills and gamble it and hope you hit on the dice. You can put it in a safe.
No table games in the hills, guys. Just to
see. I haven't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Going to Vegas. So anyway, you'd be surprised at what you can do with that money. If you took a portion of that money and used it to start an LLC, say, like I said, that you're doing hair or you're detailing cars or you're walking dogs. My daughter has a business. Her and I started it together, but my daughter has her own business. I'm lacing her up with that. So my plan is to build her business up while she's in high school so that by the time she's in college, her business is self-sufficient and she can just go and she's a photographer and a videographer. So my plan is to already have her business established to where she can just do senior photos or weddings at a certain thing, and then she can be done. That's another way that I maybe that's the street mentality in me a little bit, but I always have a goal. Like each pot is for something. So this money goes towards my mortgage. This money goes towards my car. And once I get that money, then boom, that bill's taken care of. I don't have to worry about that. Now, what am I going to do with this extra money? What I find is when I set myself a goal, it makes it easier to grab it as opposed to me just flailing and saying, I hope I grab this. And I hope I grab this. If I'm saying, okay, Des, all the money that you make off of your taxes, that should cover your mortgage for the year. Okay, so if your tax business does that, then you ain't got to worry about the house for the rest of the year. Now you got to just worry about keeping the lights on, et cetera, et cetera. And so therefore my bookkeeping business is responsible for that, right? And then I have an event planning business that helps me with my travel money. Like there's so many ways that you can invest in yourself.
Do you write these goals down, or
I do.
Do you think it's important?
I think it's very important. Most of the goals that I write down, I think I read that if you write something down, it's like a 70% chance of coming to fruition, as opposed to if you don't.
If you don't, they say it's just a wish.
Yeah, it's just a wish. And then I like to be I can be everywhere sometimes. Like y'all probably seen that in the show. And it helps me focus. It helps me understand this is what I need to obtain and this is how I get it. And then I manifest it. I call things out. Like I can honestly tell you, I think that I'm good at what I do. But the fact that I know that this is what the universe has in store for me makes me that much more successful.
Or confident, and even confident.
Right. And it makes me more willing to take risks.
Because that's what I read off of you.
When you know God got you, you ain't afraid. You're like, you know what? This might be hard for me to do, but if he's for me and what's for me, I can't stop it. And I didn't realize the power of manifestation. Like this is kind of new to me. I've been probably practicing it for maybe about 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed is on Pinterest, I made a dream board. And I said, okay, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. And I just did a dream board, one day board. I went back to my Pinterest like 2 years later, and I was blown away at everything on that dream board I had. And I didn't even
put it in front of you.
I just put it down. I just put it down and said, this is what I want. I made it plain. I said, this is what I want. And I got it. I got it.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? I appreciate you for being on the show, sharing everything that you share with these Black people. I think their plate is pretty full right now. I think they have a lot to eat right now. So I would say.
No, but honestly, guys, if you get anything from me, if you have any type of hustle or any way of making side money outside of your JOB, claim it. Get you an EIN. Claim it on your taxes. Start to show the history. Start to prove yourself. We don't want 40 acres and a mule anymore. I want 120 acres and a yacht. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get it. You can't sit around waiting for somebody to give you something. Like you can't. You can be complacent. I know a lot of people who are happy being complacent. You know, and if that's who you are, then I'm not knocking you. But when it's time to level up, and everybody eventually you're gonna want to level up, don't be afraid to take that jump. There's lots of resources behind you that I can tell you guys about. Grants, home ownership. I can't stress that enough. Right now, I stumbled upon a program called NACA, and it helps with home ownership. Credit isn't even an issue with this. And it's literally designed to help people of color and low-income people get into homes. And there's a lot of stuff out there. You just got to know what doors to knock on. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to take a risk on yourself.
Well, I thank you for sharing these things with us. You know, we got her cheap today. I'm paying her half of what I paid her the last time.
Yeah. He paid me half of nothing.
So I got her at a discount.
Half of nothing.
But you know what? Let me say this. This is stuff that we definitely need within our community. For you all that got in here late, Joe, Broussard, Nikita, I would say, you guys, please. This is one of those shows that, and Harold said he don't even like watching the relationship shows. He want to watch all these shows.
Right.
So he's saying, look, we do this for a reason. There are some people that need to learn how to run their house effectively and efficiently. So we put that out there for Black folks. And then there are some of us that are trying to level up, as Desiree has pointed out, and we need to help those people as well, get from that one level to that next level, and to be a little bit more socially responsible and financially responsible with what it is that they do. Our community needs us to do that right now, you all, because we have a lot of money that we spend. And as Ms. Clark said, and I believe it was also Sabrina that was saying that we are spending our money on useless things right now. And we're
eating it up, we're smoking it up, we're drinking it up, we're clubbing it up.
We got a link on YouTube. So if you want to see that, you go to our YouTube, and our link is in the chat. So don't forget to go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Check this out. We got to get out of here, but we appreciate you guys being here with us today. Desiree, we appreciate you being here and sharing all of the information that you had to share with us today. I love these shows myself, because I'm telling you, I went back and watched shows that we've done and learned something all over again. So,
I didn't finish my thought with the COVID vaccine.
Oh, go ahead.
So I invested in Johnson & Johnson as a safe bet, and then I turned around and I invested in Moderna as well, because they both entered the phase 4 at the same time, and both have been paying off. So just pay attention to current events. You're not gonna get your get rich schemes on Facebook. Join Clubhouse. Find people who are in your same network and same type of business and learn from them. Each one teach one. You know, you'd be surprised at a lot of information that is out there and people who are willing to share it. But you got to let your guard down and be a bit vulnerable. It's okay to say, you know what, Des, I ain't been doing it right, but I want to get it right. Mm-hmm. And there's people out, I'll help you. I know several people that'll help you. You can, there's nothing to it but to do it. Just please believe in yourself, invest in yourself. If you don't get nothing from this show, get that. Like, believe in yourself.
Well, we appreciate that. And we're going to have you back. Yeah. I hope you don't make too much money to where this is going to cost.
I don't make no money. I'm broke. I write off the paper clips.
But I do appreciate you. And we're signing off for Mike and Mike. Remember, if there's anything you need to apologize for, anyone that you need to forgive, please do it now because life is too short. Hey, Mike and Mike and Night, we appreciate you guys. You all have a wonderful night, and we can't wait to see you guys again tomorrow. Have a good one.
That was cool.
Appreciate it. We got a little At Ease. We're signing off with At Ease tonight, y'all. Make sure y'all go check them out too, Andwelly and At Ease. They also have a new album coming out. It's going to be on Spotify. You're going to hear it here first. We got a couple of songs you're going to hear here first. You're not going to be able to get it anywhere else. Don't shoot me down, Mr. Hudson. My hands are mine.
I like your little eyeglasses.